stay with the security because the Ghana Police Service has slammed the British High Commissioner for a tweet issued on May 17, which referred to the arrest of Fix the Country convener Oliver Barker-Vormawor, who was arrested for alleged reckless driving. Now, 2 weeks since that tweet was issued, the police have penned a strongly worded 15-point, 3-page letter to the High Commissioner, accusing her of interfering in Ghana's internal affairs in violation of a Vienna Convention, which guides diplomatic relations in the country. And of course, again, if you log on to 3news.com, you find details of that particular statement. All of the details is strongly worded, if you ask me. All of that is on our Facebook page as well as 3news.com. Jifa Bampo is the editor here. She's joining me for a conversation. Jifa, before I come to you shortly, let me just head on and speak to Professor Bafwa Jimandua. He's a founding member of CDD Ghana, former UN advisor on governance. Thank you for joining us, Prof. So now you've studied the statement in clean detail. Would you say, as some have suggested already, that it was a bit strongly worded and a bit too harsh?
Well, thank you for having me. I read the letter. And personally, I'm very happy about that. You know why? Because for so long, diplomatic representatives in our country tend to behave as if we continue to be the vassal state of their countries. Look, we are a sovereign nation, and there are diplomatic requirements when a nation engages another nation. And when they send their diplomats, they are guided by what we refer to as the Vienna Convention. What some of our diplomatic friends here do is to unduly and unnecessarily poke their noses in our internal affairs. They do not do that anywhere else but in African countries.
Okay.
Our diplomats abroad do not do that. So I think it's a behavior that I believe strongly that the police, for the first time, has been able to tell us as it should be told.
Prof, I'll come back to you, but Jifa Bampo will run us through exactly in detail what this statement is saying. Jifa, tell us, you've been studying the statement.
Yes, so it's a 15-point, 3-page statement from the Ghana Police Service. Essentially, they sought to suggest that the comment on a tweet made by the British High Commissioner, Her Excellency Harriet Thompson, was either biased or from an uninformed position.
And we will display that tweet, on your screen in a short time. You see exactly what the British High Commissioner to Ghana, Harriet Thompson, tweeted. But if I can go ahead.
Yes, and as far as the police is concerned, and I'll quote from paragraph 4 of the first page, which says, "What is more, we consider your tweet a violation of the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations, 1961, which enjoins diplomatic missions not to interfere in the internal affairs of the host country." They take issue with a specific phrase in the tweet, which says, Oliver Barker-Vormawor arrested again, and the statement has arrested again in quotes. From page 2, the police go on to outline why Oliver was arrested, emphasizing that he was not arrested alone and that this was in keeping with upholding the traffic laws of Ghana. And so in paragraph 3, they go on to say, against this backdrop, in view of the fact that he is not the only person who has been taken through due process for committing an offense in this country, it's difficult to understand why he is your only focus. Okay. Are we to understand that you are not you are concerned about law enforcement processes in Ghana or only as applied to this person of interest? The police go on to emphasize in the statement that the current security architecture that Ghana practices is inherited from the British, for which she represents in Ghana. And so as far as they are concerned, they are keeping in the standards that they have inherited. However, when they start from page 3, it's 15 points where the police go on to ask multiple questions. And I think just a few of them. This one on point 4 says, are you able to direct us to instances in your country where citizens are permitted to insult, attack, and incite your army and other security apparatuses to destabilize the country? He moves on in others, and there's one that says, have you taken note of the innovations being introduced by the Ghana Police Service in recent times to deepen discipline, law and order, as well as protect lives and property in this country? Are you interested that we are doing our best, that we get it right? But I think all of what the police is trying to say is summed up in the last paragraph of page 4, where it says, for the moment, we would recommend a Ghanaian saying that might guide you in your diplomatic engagements. The saying goes, Diwufi Asem. It means learn to keep within the limits of what concerns you.
Okay, Jifa Bampo, the editor. And Prof, so Jifa has just, put in perspective why this conversation has become important. But some have said, Prof, that the individual in question is of interest because of his activism, and anything that happens to him, of course, concerns Ghana, concerns, diplomatic missions and international relations between Ghana and even foreign countries, because remember, he's largely based outside the country.
Look, we are exaggerating this whole issue about our good friend, Mr. Baker Womo. He is a Ghanaian. Secondly, a diplomat, in this case, the British High Commissioner, should be interested in this particular case if our brother Oliver was a British citizen. If you look at the Vienna Convention, it's laid out. You cannot go to one country, another country, and behave as if you're the police person in charge. You see, what the Americans do, they observe all these things, and at the end of the year, they produce what they call human rights annual reports. You remember not long ago, they issued their report and it became a topical issue.
Right.
Of course, I'm not even interested in what Americans issue. The central issue here is how these countries have been treating African countries. They are degrading us. They have no right to meddle in our local affairs. Right. If a Ghanaian citizen infringes or for whatever reason goes against the law, is arrested, your interest as a foreign diplomat in the country is to report to your home government, what we call the standing country. You report to them, and they decide to engage the foreign ministry in whatever capacity they want. That's why, on one hand, even though I'm happy that this thing came directly from the police, diplomatically speaking, this letter from the police will have come from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Okay. But because perhaps the ministry has not been active in this matter, maybe that's why the police did. And I have no regrets at all that the police took this action, because it's about time that Ghana asserts itself as a nation when we're dealing with others. Okay. Prof, I'll have you hold on for me. Joining us via phone is Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa. He's ranking member on the Foreign Affairs Committee. Thank you, Honorable, for joining us. So some have said this statement by the police, signed by the IGP himself, is almost like killing a fly with a sledgehammer. But you heard Prof saying that it has come at the right time as we have it. So these diplomats refrain from interfering in local affairs in Ghana. What do you say about this?
Good afternoon to you, good afternoon to the panel and to all viewers. To be very sincere with you, I take the view that this matter could have been handled much, much better. The IGP could have raised his concerns with the minister responsible for foreign affairs and regional integration. Those are the normal diplomatic channels. And the foreign ministry could have conveyed whatever concerns the Ghanaian government has with the High Commissioner. If you look at the statement which has now been made public, it's very high-handed, very strong words. The use of very raw, undiplomatic language. And it's as though the IGP is not speaking to a friendly country. Right. So far as we are concerned, in Parliament, we know that Ghana and UK have very warm bilateral cordial relations. And I am also aware of extensive support that the UK government extends to the Ghana Police Service and other security agencies. And to the extent that you are speaking with a country that has ancestral ties and very warm diplomatic relations, you have to be measured and you have to follow the laid down diplomatic channels.
Right.
I'm not sure that if the IGP had reached out to the Minister for Foreign Affairs or the very experienced and distinguished diplomats we have within the Foreign Service of Ghana, they would have advised him to proceed on this path. This path is as though, you know, the IGP is out to, you know, as it were, court, you know, some disaffection, raise tensions in ways that really is avoidable. And I'm also not sure that what the High Commissioner has done amounts to interference in internal matters. I don't think that the High Commissioner has been meddlesome. If you observe modern diplomatic practices, diplomats and indeed governments do comment on these matters, particularly as the person of interest in this matter is a student in their country. Remember that the Cambridge University authorities had issued a statement earlier and had asked the British High Commission to look out for this student of theirs. So when you consider the matters within this context, the British High Commissioner, I don't think that, you know, using words like the Asem and would they be interested in a coup in Ghana and all of that, I think that it was quite uncut. It was discourteous. It was needlessly provocative. It's not diplomatic at all.
Would it be something, Honorable?
I think that the route is really poorly advised.
And would it be something that your committee will be interested in, for example, in addressing?
Yeah, definitely. We have taken an interest in this matter. You see, we are talking about a country that we have very warm relations. We have very friendly ties, and I know of continuous support.
Right.
You know, even with this threat of terrorism, I know what the British, what the Americans, the French, and others are doing for us. The appeals that we have made, our government has made to them, and it's important that we continue to collaborate. This should not mar our relations, and if it's not managed well, you know, it can mar Ghana-UK relations, which we have nurtured historically for many, many years. So I also expect the foreign ministry to step in. There should be de-escalation so that they talk using the backroom diplomatic channels.
Okay, thank you very much. Samuel Kojo to our Blackwade, ranking member on the Foreign Affairs Committee. Let me wrap up with you, Prof. So you had there the Foreign Affairs Committee ranking member. He says it was a bit you know, harsh and uncut, but he will be interested in the Foreign Affairs Ministry looking into this. Their committee in Parliament will also look into de-escalating, you know, what appears to be seeming tension. What would be your recommendation going forward?
My very good friend Ablakwa certainly is a diplomat, so I can understand his concerns. Maybe a future Foreign Affairs Minister himself, so I do respect his comments on this. The only part I agree with him, and I made that earlier in my comments, that this issue must have been handled by the Foreign Affairs Ministry. If you recall, I made that point. And that's the only part I regret. But the facts as stated in the letter, I believe strongly, is something that they need to be told. Okay. Look, the fact that we have support, finance, and aid from countries does not mean that we should always be kowtowing to the imperial sentiments. Right. They are not here to imperial anyway.
Thank you very much, Professor Bafwa Jimandua. He is a senior former UN governance advisor speaking to us. Before we wrap up on this conversation, this clearly has been generating a lot of talk on social media. What does the look ahead look like? Because now Samuel Kojo Ablakwa said their committee will be interested in this one.
I've seen some of the reactions on social media. It's mixed. I've seen someone who wrote, well, the IGP writes a 15.3-page letter to respond to a 2-sentence tweet, making light of it. But I think there's a general view that this shouldn't have been penned the way it was penned. There's some thought about whether this is the most important thing the Ghana Police Service should be dealing with
at this time,
right now, because it's on a day where we are reflecting upon the murder of a member of the Ghana Bar Association. We are reflecting upon numerous cold cases, the severe violence and severe crimes that we've experienced as journalists where we cover. So for many people, many ask, is this the most important thing at this time to be addressing in this manner with these words?
Okay.
I think people want to see more. But we did reach out to the British High Commission to get some thoughts about what they make of the letter. They have seen it. They do indicate that they will comment later, hopefully probably in a statement. They said they don't want to speak publicly for fear of inflaming further passions, but they were significantly shocked at the tone of the letter. The content for them was quite surprising. However, they emphasized that they still support free speech. Their tweet was clear and measured in that regard. For them, they will continue to use diplomatic back channels in an effort to bring this issue to an amicable closure. Thank
you very much, Ifabampo, editor here at TV3, helping us, understand the running legs and arms of this story. Trust that we will be following through in the course of a day. We'll bring you all of the other reactions that are coming through on this subject. So you want to stay with us.